Welcome to another stupendous Sorax space production. I've scoured the internet for at least 10 minutes to find the worst video game box art ever produced. So, without further ado, I bring you Sorax's top 10 worst video game box arts of all time. Number 10. Jonetsu Neketsu Athletes Nakimushi Coach no Nikki. I would say I think I'm pronouncing that right, but I don't. This was a Japanese Olympic style game released in 1997, and the name is nearly as bad as the artwork. I have no idea what the coach is pointing to as it's out of frame, so it appears he's pointing to the PlayStation logo whilst crying in a stadium which is completely empty.
Look, a spectator! Oh wait, no, that's the cleaner.
They're holding hands in quite a loving way in what looks like a tearful tribute to the console.
It's so damn beautiful. Look at the way the P and the S are so perfectly perpendicular. Coach, you're holding too hard. Let go. I'll let go when you win something.
Number 9, Metro Cross. My gosh, what do we have here? It looks like Tony Hawk returning from a time-travelling trip to an 80s jumble sale after having a stroke. If that wasn't bad enough for Tony, he's stuck in a glitchy game of virtual checkers. Truly awful. Number 8, Blood and Guts. The designer unfortunately skipped the class where they learnt how to draw shirts. This warrior has just shat out a cat and is treading on the poor creature's tail. What's a cat doing in the middle of all this anyway? There's a bowl with the game's title inscribed in it with blood. But why is there a frozen light bulb on the top? On closer inspection, it appears to be a horn being held, but a suspicious liquid oozing out of it remains unknown. I can only assume the title is a reference to the designer's guts in showing the producers, who in turn ripped his nuts off and left him to bleed to death. A worthy punishment for this creation, I'd say. Number 7, Hellfighter. It must be hell having a sword stuck up your arse. This muscular gentleman is naked besides his little red thong, and there's a message which rather conveniently covers his package. We can't be having grossly out of proportion genitalia on the front cover now, can we?
These nuts!
That sharp sword would surely cut through his thong if he was using his underwear as a weapons holder, although his sword is nowhere near as sharp as his most dangerous weapon of choice. His kneecap. This terribly drawn man seems obsessed with penetration, as not only is a sword lodged into his anus, he's also pushed his hand through the jaw of a skull. Maybe he's practicing a unique skeleton ventriloquism act.
You really get under my skin.
All this whilst the dragon eats his excreted green balls. Ah, a classic depiction of hell. Number 6, Kong for the Commodore 64. This box art features Pinocchio's uncle in a sailor's costume, using a mallet to chip away at Kong's chest hair made out of bananas. Kong clearly has a granny fetish, as he grabs the grey-haired heroine with his only hand that has no arm. Or is that a tiny white arm there? I'm not sure, but the lady doesn't appear at all bothered by the situation. It doesn't look like they even bothered to finish his right hand. Ah, who cares? Just release it anyway. Number 5. Carnage Rally. There's really only one place to start, and that's with this blue-haired nutter on the front. Why is he positioned at such an odd angle? Look at him, he's even dyed his eyebrows blue. Is this supposed to signify carnage? The punk has obtained a black eye on his travels, undoubtedly from his mum when he came home from the barber's asking for the Sonic the Hedgehog on crack look. The lunatic then reasons that shaving it all off just isn't enough, so he gets a big blurry purple car to ram into the side of his head to end the suffering instead. Awful cover, Awful spelling. Number 4, Mystery of the Druids. The biggest mystery is what on earth has this man just witnessed? Maybe he's just caught his wife with the postman. Maybe he's just sat on a spike. Maybe he's seen the sales projections of this game. Whatever it is, I can't say it's enticing me to buy the game. In fact, it's doing the complete opposite. Just imagine seeing this in the store. If I saw his face on the shelf, I'd stay as far away as I could. Look at his face and see how long you can go without laughing. Got ya. This is the least threatening gorilla I've ever seen. The only thing he's killing is the ladies with his charm. Sadly, the poor thing has an eye infection. This box art doesn't even look like it was finished. There's some circular shape over his eye that looks like a monocle. Maybe behind the posh, grinning, flat-headed, big-breasted Kong is a stone-cold killer. And with a bright pink background, they're really giving the impression that he's dangerous. Just look at his little cheeky face. Ah, Killer Kong, you are a naughty boy, murdering all those people. But I can't stay mad at you. This game was made by Blabby Computer Games. The designer blabbed his way into a job, judging by this evidence. Number 2, all Master System games, although if I had to choose one, Action Fighter. Looking at the box art for Master System games, the whole top 10 could have been from this one console, so I've decided to lump them all together in one category. I get they were going for the minimalistic look, but some of these are just awful. Pro wrestling, just look at it. I have no explanation for this. The cover solely consists of a decapitated wrestler, quite literally holding his head in his hands. Sadly, there's no headless wrestlers in the game. And Black Belt. Picture this, right? You're a designer. You're asked to produce artwork for a fighting game called Black Belt. There'd be a black belt in your design somewhere, right? Oh no, not this idiot. Oh no. What would be much better would be a martial artist's leg slowly moving towards a burning flame to roast his own foot. Not quite the image I had in mind, I have to say. Ghost House came so close to making my number 2 spot. This one rather takes the mickey. It's a picture of someone's hand holding the game cartridge. Imagine if this was the cover of Uncharted 4. Action Fighter, for me though, is on another level. The cover doesn't exactly scream action or fighter to me. Look at this footage from the game. Who in their right mind thought a magnifying glass on an empty road was the best way to market this game? And to top it all off, let's stick the box art on kiddies' graph paper and make the letters overlap. I could have drawn a better box art with a pencil clenched in between my butt cheeks. Where Are My Pipes features a smiling beaver leaning against an invisible wall. The woman would be rather attractive, had the designer not decided that cutting off her legs would be a great idea. Or maybe she's buried in that green layer, which I think is meant to be grass, but I can't be sure. Super Buster Move. A big baby's head. Cockin. I have no words. Ninja Scooter Simulator. There was such high demand for a simulator for the everyday situation of a ninja on a scooter, and they delivered. The scaling is so bad and out of proportion, either it's a giant scooter or a midget ninja. I really like the idea of a midget ninja, so I'm going to go with the latter. It looks like the price was printed on the artwork itself, which is always a bad idea. Stick a couple of skulls on the side for good measure, and that's a wrap. Air Traffic Chaos. Well, it's an accurate description. If your plane is flying at that height, and is sideways, you're going to cause some chaos. The so-called air traffic controller is sweating because he's never actually controlled air traffic in his life. He also has to state on the front cover, I am an air traffic controller. because the designer was so confident in his drawing that he thought you wouldn't even know who he was. He also looks ready to jack off. But are you ready for the worst video game box art of all time? In my opinion. Number 1. Megaman. Yeah, you probably saw this coming. The only thing mega about this man is his back problem. The artist also thought it would be mega to make him a middle-aged man with no neck, with huge arms and legs but skinny torso, and to have a crab-like stance as though he's just soiled his mega pants. What's worse is that he's holding a gun even though in the game he has a hand cannon. And to cap off this monstrosity, they've stuck some awfully drawn purple buildings and random grid lines in the background as filler. What makes this the number 1 worst box art of all time is how good the game actually is, and what an injustice the box art provides. This must have damaged sales. The artwork for the third game onwards improved a lot. Well, it couldn't get any worse, could it? Until the downloadable Megaman 9 in 2008, which paid tribute to the notorious original Mega Man box art. Not only this, the overweight hero from the original game also found his way into Street Fighter Cross Tekken in 2012. Capcom sure know how to laugh at themselves, and this is truly laughable. Do you agree with my list? Do you think I've missed out any horrendous pieces of box art that should have been included? Then keep it to yourself, because my video is perfect. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. You can also follow my new Twitter feed at Sorax Space, ironically with no spaces. I've been Sorax, watch this space.
Time for some pain.
What did he say?
Time for some pain.
Pain. Apparently he's saying time for some pain. He's not a very nice man. The game then starts.